Warhammer Space Marine Tune is almost here. It comes out on September 9th, 2024. So I wanted to put a video together to help you guys choose which classes that you guys wanted to pick and point out their strengths, their weaknesses, and everything of the sort. So that way on day one, you know what to pick and you know what you're going to go with. So, if you guys enjoy this video, make sure to drop a like and consider subscribing to the channel. We will be playing this game and, of course, providing content for you guys. So, if you want to stay up to date with Space Marine 2 content, then make sure to hit that subscribe button and make sure you turn on the post notifications. That way, YouTube can notify you guys every time our videos go live. So, without further ado, let's get right into it. So starting off with the first class is the Tactical Marine. Now the unique thing about the Tactical Marine is that he has a huge arsenal of weapons. He actually has access to most of the weapons out of all of the other classes in the game. And his unique skill pings enemies, but not only does he ping enemies, he marks them for your entire team, and then also all marked enemies will take increased damage from all sources. So he's pretty much your all-rounder class, so a great pick for a starter pick, especially for people that don't really know or just now getting into the game. So the Tactical Marine is probably a great starter pick for one of the 6 classes. And moving on to the next class is the Assault class. This is more of a melee-focused class. It also has the ability to use a jetpack, which is the special skill of the Assault. And one thing to keep in mind is it does not have a primary. It does not have access to a primary weapon, only a secondary and a melee weapon. So as you see in the background gameplay here, we are using the Thunder Hammer to demolish our enemies. Now the cool thing about the Assault is that it does have unique perks that you can unlock to deal additional damage to enemies that have been hit with melee weapons, so that way your team can shoot from afar, and also while you're demolishing them with your melee weapon. Now also you can jump in the air with the jetpack and you can shoot down onto enemies, or you can do like a thunder slam like you can see here in the background gameplay. Now do keep in mind that the Assault class is not a do-it-all kind of class. You don't want to stray too far away from your team because you can get overwhelmed in certain situations. So make sure you stay close to your team, but you can also, punish enemies with your melee weapon and also zip around with your jetpack to quickly capture objectives for your team as well. Moving on to the next class, we have the Vanguard. This one probably requires a little bit of skill to use, but the unique skill is the grapnel launcher. So you can grapple onto enemies and deal a huge burst of single target damage, especially to elites, and you can also zip around to other enemies to make sure that you have a good position on top of enemies. So that is the unique perk of the Vanguard. Now, the Vanguard does have access, I think, to the least amount of weapons, but you can either equip for melee combat or really good ranged combat, but you'll just have to be wary about where you're landing because you can, again, just like the Assault class, can get overwhelmed with over-aggression. So again, you want to try and stick with your team, try to get the, you can stun an elite from like an afar and then like grapple to them to finish them off. So again, I think this one will probably require just a tad bit of skill to use, but once you get the hang of it, it's probably a ton of fun. And next up, we have the Bulwark. Now, this is probably one of the classes I'm probably going to start with in this game, alongside with the Sniper, which we'll get to next. But the cool thing about the Bulwark is that it is your close to medium range tank, especially for your team, and also can support your team as well. The unique skill for the Bulwark is called the Chapter Banner, which restores armor to allies that are within the radius of the banner. And you can also unlock perks and skills later on within the Bulwark to also restore health to allies. You can also drop a shock grenade when your armor is worn out. And you can also give your teammates a damage reduction to tournament style enemies. So it is a very great close support and to medium range support for your enemies. Also, you can use your shield to push away enemies from objectives. Also, you can stun them, and you have a good access to melee weapons. As you can see in the background gameplay, we are using the Power Sword, which has 2 unique modes, which when it's lit up with the arc lightning does massive AoE attacks. When it's not charged, you can do massive single target damage. You also have the chain sword and of course the power fist. It also does not have access to a primary such as the assault class. and you also have the plasma pistol and the regular bolt pistol as well. So if you guys are looking for a tank with a shield to also support your team, then this is the class for you. And the next class we have is called the Heavy. If you guys are wanting to support your team but also mow down hordes of enemies from afar, then this is the class for you. What the unique skill of the Heavy is called Iron Halo. What Iron Halo does is it summons a dome shield around you and your allies that are standing close to it or inside of it, and it allows you to protect you and your teammates from ranged attacks. Now, unique thing about the Heavy is some of the perks and skills that you can unlock later on is, one is you can give damage reduction to your teammates from ranged attacks, and you can have a skill to where your primary weapon does not overheat when one or more of your teammates are incapacitated. So it kind of gives you that true last standing feel if one of your squad mates goes down, and you can just hold the trigger and absolutely mow down enemies. Now, as you can see here, we're smashing away with our weapon and our stomps, as we do not have access to a melee weapon. This is the only class in the game that does not have access to a melee weapon. Instead, we only have the primary and secondary. The primaries are pretty much just heavy ranged attacks or heavy ranged weapons that can deal with hordes of enemies. And then the secondaries are the bolt pistol and the plasma pistol, just like the Bulwark. So if you guys are wanting to support your team and again mow down hordes of enemies, then this is the class for you. And the final class that I'm going to show you guys on here is the Sniper class. And of course, with the Sniper, you can deal incredible range damage to targets, and it has access to perks that allows you to have bonus headshot damage and allow you to have a little bit of a survivability. When you have low health, you can activate your camo cloak without expending its charge, and you become invulnerable for a short amount of period. Now, the unique skill of the Sniper is the Camo Cloak ability, which allows you to become completely invisible for a short period of time to allow you to either, you can revive your teammates without enemies noticing, or you can get in and out of combat with ease by using the Camo Cloak ability. Now, as far as the primary options, we have access to medium to long range rifles, as we have access to a standard rifle or a laser powered rifle, along with some semi-auto options and the standard carbine that the tactician or the tac uses. And as for the secondary and melee, we only have access to one weapon, which is the bolt pistol, and the melee is the combat knife. So if you guys are looking for a long-ranged option, and if you guys can hit your marks, then the Sniper class is for you. And that pretty much wraps up this ultimate class guide for Warhammer Space Marine 2. I hope you guys found this video informative in your decision making when choosing your class when it comes to this game, especially when it comes out on September 9th, 2024. So let me know what you guys are going to pick down in the comments below. And if you guys want more Warhammer Space Marine 2 content, drop a like and consider subscribing to the channel, because with Black Myth Wukong, this game, and of course the third DLC with Remnant 2, we'll have plenty of content up here on the channel. So make sure to hit that bell icon so that way YouTube can notify you every time our videos go live. There's also links in the description, guys, if you guys want to become a member of the LDG community, either with member perks from the YouTube channel or join our Discord. We'd love to have you. So with all that out of the way, guys, I hope you guys have an awesome rest of your day, and I'll see you on the next video. Deuces.